Hello students. I'm recording this one more video about rules of the class. So I think last time you already seen the video where I have mentioned about taking notes and making sure that your audio is off when you're not talking. So those kind of videos or rules that you already seen. But I think this one is little bit special. This is little bit different video, and I think it's also very important. So please do pay attention. I think at the end of this video, hopefully you'll have better understanding about the teacher. You'll have better understanding about your role in the class, and even after the class, right? Even after you finish the JLPT exams and pass them successfully. So I think it's better that you pay attention to this video. See, we are all grown-ups, and as like teachers, we want to make sure that you are ready for the job market. But then what happens is that during the class, right, during the study, we are trying to judge you, not really judge you, but we are observing you, right? And then we notice some problems, very very basic problems, and we do want to tell you those problems. But then it's not our job. Our job is to teach you, Japanese well. That's it. But at the same time, we have your best interest in our mind, but we can't offend you. So I thought maybe I'll make a generic video, and that would be helpful to you. And also, hopefully you will start feeling better, you'll understand us better. And then of course I'm looking for feedback on this video, right? So we don't want people to judge us, right? Even I also don't want people to judge me. But then at the same time, what happens is that people are always watching you. They're trying to judge you, right? So in this class, the sensei, your colleagues, they're watching your behavior, right? So like now, how does that help you? So even after you finish JLPT, you're of course trying to search for a job. Yeah. And I'm very proud to say that our class does not show you some greenery in the sense of like that we will give you a job or something, right? But then at the same time, like we have got 27 people team in our IT department, and so far we have given job to 7 of our students. And so far we are very proud to say that we have not selected even a single wrong candidate. Now how is that possible? Because when some other companies they select you, they interview you for maybe 5 hours, maybe 6 hours maximum, right? They can't keep on interviewing you for a long time. But here we have got a very good chance to observe you, kind of indirectly interview you for like 6 months, sometimes for like 1 year, sometimes for multiple years actually, right? So because we have seen you so many times, you're so long, then we know how good you are, or how bad you are, right? So this whole course is kind of an interview, and then that helps us a lot in terms of making sure that we select the right candidate, right? Now there is a single thing that comes to our mind, that if a student is not fulfilling his or her responsibility when they are the one who are paying us the fees, right? Then will they really fulfill their responsibility if we hire them and we start paying them? Yeah. So these are the things that come to our mind. So whether you like it or not, whether I like it or not, we are always being judged, and then we need to make sure that our behavior is like top quality, like all the time. And be you never know the students that have joined along with you in the class. Those students are actually working for really good companies and big companies, and they even might be looking to hire someone, right? So like your impression is very very important in the class. Now how where does it all count? So I think the first of all is like whether you're doing your homework on time. That is one of your responsibilities, right? And if you're every class, if you're telling people and the teacher, sorry sensei, I didn't find time to do the homework, that sends a very very wrong signal. You might have very good excuses, or and even real excuses and real reasons, but who doesn't have, right? Everyone has responsibilities. Like for example, right, attendance. Like if we get a request for sending a recording by the same person once a month or even twice a month, we understand, right? Everybody has problems, we fall sick, something else or the other happens. But if somebody is asking for a recording, almost like after every class, there is a problem. There is a problem. I'm sorry to say this, but there is a problem. Yeah. also the kind of excuses that we receive, right, they are actually outright funny actually, and not acceptable at all. You really need to push yourself, because this class is just a one step for your further career, your further life, and you really need to get your things in order. You have to push yourself. Like for example, right, one of the excuse that we have seen for our early morning class, the 7 a.m. class, is that, sorry sensei, I could not wake up early because, right? Now this because has many reasons, right? I mean, some of the things that I have people have told us that, like, our lifestyle is like this, we don't wake up early, right? Look, it's up to you, right? It's your life, but then you have opted for this class, you have taken that responsibility, so don't send that bad signal. Again, I'm not scolding, right? It's your life. I also have a lot of problems, but then who doesn't have? So if you're taken up this class, if you're it's your responsibility to wake up on time, then the other things, that other reasons for waking up late are family responsibilities, like kid is troubling, or sometimes you need to make sure that husband is coming late, so we need to support our husband. I completely understand, but see, look, it's not a, when you're taking this responsibility, when you're a student, you need to make sure that your family is in line with your goal. Yeah. So look, I can't go and dwell more into this, but I hope you get the signal that this is not going to take you anywhere actually. If you are not able to get up early on time, and 7 a.m. is, by the way, like, it's not that early, frankly. You need to get your things in order, right? Then also sometimes people skip class for families, functions, and outings, and going on vacation. Look, I know you need to have fun in life, and you need to kind of have, reduce the stress and do all that. But again, as I said, if this thing like sleep happens like once in a month, we understand, right? Even if this thing happens in once in a month, we understand, but every now and then is not acceptable, and doesn't send the right signals about your your personality. I'm sorry to say this. Okay. Then another thing is under participation in the class, right? See, language is a social skill. I mean, why are we learning Japanese, right? Because we want to communicate. We want to make sure that we are helping your company that you join to translate properly, interpret properly. But if you're not able to participate in the class, then how will you get the practice? How will you get better at it, right? And also, as a teacher, how will I know where you need help, right? I mean, see, some of the excuses for under participation, I have not understood it so far, right? One of the thing is that, sir, my audio is not working. I understand if it is not working once, if it is not working twice, but if it is not working for months and months and months, right, there is a problem. I mean, I can't be mad enough for the problems like this in this technology world. And especially because after the pandemic, you have no choice but to get used to this overall, like online classes and all. You can't keep on giving that excuse every now and then that, sorry sir, my mic is not working, and I have audio problem, and that's why I'm not. Sorry, I'm sorry, really sorry. It's like, I'm sorry if if I sound like getting mad, but because that's because I'm mad at like these kind of excuses, right? So under participation is bad. Okay, then over participation, right? Sometimes what happens is that you need to kind of wait for your turn, right? And teachers are normally, what they are doing is that they are going literally student by student and asking them question. But sometimes what happens is students step on other people's foot, in the sense that it is somebody else's turn, teacher is specifically asking that student X should answer, then student Y will come in between, and then they will start like replying to that question. If there is a no, if it's not your turn, you're not supposed to talk, because we like you as a good student. But then if somebody else is slow, we also like him actually, we want him to progress. So you need to be patient. You need to make sure that the other students are you know able to answer, and you are like able to kind of hold yourself for some more time. Also, like, there are sometimes students who are overzealous, and of course they are curious and we like them. They ask like completely unrelated question. They're completely out of syllabus, or because you have stayed in Japan for so long, the questions are about Japan. And trust me, we love to answer all your out of syllabus questions as well. But then what happens is that those questions, right, are sometimes not related to the syllabus, and teacher needs to finish things on time, but they can't say no to you. We don't want to offend you, and also other students may not be interested in your questions. So it's better that you wait, you wait, and then you answer, you ask those questions maybe on WhatsApp group, so that whenever student the teacher has time, teacher will come out and definitely answer your question. So not that we don't like your question, but then we need to follow your like the timelines. Now the other thing that I would really like you to focus on is that, please, even if you are good at something and other students are slow, please do not make fun of other students, right? Or if other students are misbehaving, please don't scold them. It's not your job. It is like teacher's job. Let the teacher handle it, because that disturbs the whole class, and like the kind of the other people feel offended, and then that kind of sends a very wrong picture. So please don't make fun of other students, or even if they are a bit slow. Okay. Then another dangerous over participation is that if a student is asking a question to sensei, please let the sensei answer it. It's not your job. Okay, it's not your job. There are many reasons for it. Like for example, when a student is asking question, then the teacher knows what to say. So teacher has got something in mind, so she wants to not just answer the question, but there are certain things around that question which are very important from the question's point of view and the student's point of view. But if you chip in between and you start answering the question on the behalf of the sensei, that sends completely wrong signal. The student who's is not expecting you to talk, right? Because you're not a teacher. Then you need to kind of relax a bit, think twice whether you should really speak at this point of time. Let the sensei answer the question, and then if you have any further question, then ask it, right? Of course, if you have any additional point, then please say that. But don't be the first person to answer a question on the behalf of sensei. That is not, absolutely not your job. You are limiting yourself to the knowledge that the sensei wants to give it to you. Also, if the sensei is teaching, please let the sensei finish teaching that section, right? Once she's done with the section, then when you notice a pause, then ask the question. But when the teacher is telling you something, and if you're thinking about something else, or maybe something related, and you start asking the questions, or you start saying something in between, what happens is that it breaks that chain of thoughts, right? It breaks that chain of thought. So please be patient, and maybe write down somewhere on the notepad, so that you don't forget the question, and then ask that later on. Then one of the last things, let it go. Look, I mean, even after I tell you so many rules, and how we should do it, how we should behave and all that, sometimes, like we know that we are not your parents, and we just cannot love you as much as your parents do. But then when it's a class and it's a teacher, right? Maybe you're of the same age as ours, but then from our point of view, you're a student, and we want to make sure that you get better and better. So sometimes it happens that like the teacher will kind of say some joke, or they will scold you, that will offend you, right? Please forgive us. I'm just asking for blanket forgiveness, because we are going to teach you for 120 hours or more, right? There is a very high chance that in a class of 120 hours, there will be slip of tongue. We will make mistake, right? We will offend you, or some other student will offend you. But please, we are human, but we are not villains actually, or nobody else is villain in our from our students. So please let it go. Don't take it to your home. Don't keep on thinking about the same problem. Just let it go. There are some kind of misunderstandings, they always happen. So we need to make sure that we focus on the studies, and not the things that somebody else has said or the teacher has said, right? I know it is easy for me to say, because sometimes when teachers scold you, it kind of hurts actually. And I was also at the recipient's end many times. I was also a student. But then I have learned over the period of time that those things don't matter. If the teacher is good at heart, then you just need to let it go. So with this I will stop, and I wish you all like very best. And we are also trying, as I said, we are a 27 people team, and then we are already given job to 7 students in our company. And then we have a website called as JapaneseLanguageProfessionals.com, where we accept the resume and we try to help our students. If you go to Japanese classes in Pune.com site, you'll find a section for jobs. There you can submit the resume. There is no way we can guarantee you or anybody that will give you a job, but then it is in our best interest to make sure that you get a job. And we got that kind of understanding with many companies as well, so we'll try our best. But then you need to follow these rules to make sure that you're always there for this long interview, and you leave with a best impression best impression with us, and more with your fellow students as well. So thank you very much, and I hope that this video helped you. If it has, then please do like it, share it, then also subscribe to this channel so that we can keep on publishing the useful videos for you. It was a long video, but I hope it was worth it. Thank you. Bye bye.